Hey, what's up, fellow creators? It's BC, it's Alloy7, and today we're going to talk about why it's important to develop a thick skin when it comes to building your YouTube channel and community. So if you're serious about developing a thriving YouTube channel, a thriving YouTube community, you've no doubt come to grips with the fact that this pursuit is not for the weak. You cannot be a part of this community and not expect some level of criticism or, in some cases, outright unwarranted hatred. And that's what we're going to focus on quite a bit today, is that outright unwarranted hatred. If you're from the gaming world like me, or even the music world, it gets like that as well. You've encountered probably people like Total Biscuit or like PewDiePie, for example, who is completely shut off, or at least the last time I checked, he had shut off and made a video about shutting off comments on his YouTube videos altogether because the just brazen negativity and foolishness that was going on there. You know, that's something that I can't necessarily do because my whole YouTube community thrives on engagement between me and the folks who are consuming our content. So we're going to talk about some things that'll help try to avoid that should you ever get as popular as PewDiePie. I don't know that all of it would altogether be avoidable, but I think there's some behaviors and practices that you can take on that will help you get past it. So what are those things? Well, to be good, to thrive, to survive, if you will, I think you have to steel yourself and develop what I'm calling a thick skin. But how do we do this practically, you may ask? And being thick-skinned in this case is not just about being tough or your resolve to drive past these critical barriers. I believe to be successful, you really need to adopt two mindsets and really two behaviors that you do consistently. One, understand and remain focused on your main purpose. And two, develop a short memory. All right, so what do I mean? By the first one, this understanding and remaining focused on your main purpose, your value proposition. What is it? Go back to when you started your channel and ask yourself, why am I creating this content? Why should anybody watching this content care about what I'm doing? And that's really your value proposition. And I think you have to make up your mind to only engage in activities that support that main purpose, that support that vision, that value proposition. So when that inevitable insult comes your way, your decision to engage or not to engage must be based on reaching your goals and supporting your purpose. Again, your value proposition, or the why you're doing what you're doing. So for example, if it's solid criticism that someone's giving you, and you can actually take action on said criticism and it'll improve your work, then feel free to take the appropriate action. Or if there's some type of follow-up that you should do with a person, like a simple one would be, I've had people comment and say, hey, you forgot to put the link that you promised us in the video. And that's not necessarily criticism or negativity, but it's someone saying, hey, you promised something that didn't go down. Well, then I'm very much in that case not fulfilling my vision, which is to engage with people and to inform consumers and to empower creators. So now I'm going to definitely go take the action to square that away. But if it's just random hate, ignore it as such, because engaging will only serve to distract you from achieving your purpose. Like, the videos I probably get the most criticism that's really not, and maybe it's warranted, but it doesn't really warrant a response for me, is like my Madden videos, because I'm not a particularly skilled Madden player, just to give you a practical example. So when someone calls me corny or says you suck at this game, well, for starters, I'm not really all that great at Madden, so the person is somewhat correct. I can be objective and say, yeah, probably compared to experts at Madden, I do suck. So thanks for chiming in, but I don't really need to engage with that person. But there's some times where I will engage if I can think of something witty that's not insulting. Like, I never want to insult back, but if there's something, I think the dude that called me corny, I just explained why I was corny, because I was very much being corny in that video. But you have to think about, is the time I'm spending responding to this issue going to help me reach my purpose? And if the answer is no, you just have to avoid it. And that's what I mean by the thick skin and that first option. Is it's not just about being tough and you can say what you want and I'm gonna be tough. No, you can say what you want, I'm not gonna engage with it because it's not gonna help me get where I'm trying to go. Again, the thick skin comes from being singularly focused on your purpose. And on the second part, the developing a short memory, I say don't start believing your own proverbial press clippings, as I'll call them. So your supporters are always going to be inclined to praise your work, and if they do give you criticism, it's always going to be from a positive perspective. Like, I think you could have done this better if you would have done X, that type of thing. But your haters will do quite the opposite. But the goal here is balance. Never believe that you're at your best because you can always improve. So what do I mean by believing your press clippings? Let's say you do get ultimately superiorly popular on YouTube. Don't get to the point where you think you're above reproach, or you think that you can't improve your product, because you always can. And similarly, while you're growing and kind of fighting your way, like where I am in my YouTube journey, I'm fighting my way through this, very slow growth, it's very deliberate growth, but it's been very slow in the early stages, and it's fighting that urge to quit, or fighting that urge to, engage with something that's going to take me off of my purpose. But you're never as bad as your critics would have you believe. And I don't care how bad you may think, or someone may think, your channel is. It probably can have value to someone if you really sit down and put in the time to map out what your goals, what your vision, and what your purpose is. And that's really what I mean by, developing this thick skin. Again, it's not being tough. It's not being able to retort back with people with insults that are just as creative as theirs. And trust me, I've seen, especially in the gaming world, it's hard for me to read some of the comments that I see on articles. And I don't care what the media outlet is. I get that people are jaded and people are skeptical because there's been corruption in big media. I get it. But it's hard to read sometimes just how angry some of these people are. But if you stay focused on that, it's going to pull your focus away from what you're supposed to be doing. And that's reaching your goals and making sure you're delivering on the value proposition you are giving to your community. That's what I have to say for you folks today. What do you guys do? And this is the part where I kind of want to get you guys involved in the conversation and not just make it all about me rambling on. But for those of you who have been in the game for a while, how do you deal with the criticisms or maybe even the unwarranted hate that comes your way? I'm sure there's a lot of people here that can benefit from that information. And I hope you found this informative. I hope this actually encourages you. That was the point of this video, was to encourage you to push past some of the silliness that happens on the internet and not take it so seriously. That probably should have been the third bullet. Don't take a lot of the hate so seriously. You just got a lot of angry people out there that frankly have first world problems, and they're not engaging with you because they think they can add value to the world. They're engaging with you because they're mad or they're jealous of what you're doing or whatever the case may be. But I truly believe a lot of you out there are trying to impact the world positively, at least if you're on this channel. I'd very much assume that, because that's our goal in everything that we do, to bring positivity to the table. Anyway, I have rambled long enough. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out. If this is your first time here, I would encourage you to hit the old subscribe button. And why should you do that? Well, on Mondays, we do a lot of gaming content, whether it's a review, a spotlight, let's plays, if you will. Tuesdays, we do gaming discussions. Wednesdays, like this video, we do tips and tutorials and help for creators out there, from folks that are just getting started to folks that have been in the game forever. On Thursdays is Throwback Thursdays with old school games from my childhood all the way through my adulthood. And Fridays, we do all kinds of ad hoc work on Fridays, but we also do our music reviews. So thanks again for watching, friends. It's been real. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace and Godspeed.